Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to talk about a card that, let's be honest, we can all relate to, the Four of Pentacles. You know that feeling, that deep need for security, that instinct to hold on tight to what's yours, your money, your sense of control, your comfort zone? Yeah, that's this card. It really makes us look in the mirror and ask, what am I clinging to, and is it actually helping me? So let's dive in and figure it out together.
Haha, yep. This right here just sums it up perfectly, doesn't it? Mine, mine, mine. It's that almost primal feeling you get when you've worked your tail off for something. You just want to wrap your arms around it and protect it from the world. It is a totally human instinct, but as we're about to see, it can get a little complicated.
All right, so here's our game plan. First, we'll meet the guardian of the card. Then, we'll check out the upright meaning, which I like to call the fortress of security. After that, we'll see what happens when those walls come down in the reversed meaning. Then we'll get into the good stuff, what this all means for your actual life. And finally, we'll talk about the key to letting go.
Okay, first things first. Section 1, Meet the Guardian. We're going to dig into the imagery here because it tells us so much about the core tension of this card right from the get-go.
Okay, so take a look at the classic card. What do we see? We've got this figure, and man, he is holding on for dear life, isn't he? He's clutching one coin to his chest, almost like it's his heart. Then there's another one balanced on his head, which is totally blocking off any spiritual connection, any higher wisdom from getting through. And look, he's got two more literally pinning his feet to the ground, cutting him off from the earth. To top it all off, his back is turned to the town behind him, to his community. He's so focused on not losing what he has that he can't move, he can't connect, he can't do anything. He's just stuck.
And this is the big question, right? The real heart of the Four of Pentacles. Is this wise self-care, saving for a rainy day, setting healthy boundaries, being smart with your resources? Or is it just fear? Is it a kind of greed that's actually closing him off from everything good in life? Like with all things in tarot, it's not black and white. It's all about finding that tricky balance.
All right, let's talk about the upright meaning. Section 2, the fortress of security. This is all about when holding on makes sense and, well, when it really, really doesn't. So, when you pull this card upright, think of it as a moment of intentional self-protection. It's you consciously deciding to be conservative. Maybe you're saving for a down payment, or you're protecting your time and energy by saying no to things that drain you. It could even be about clinging to a belief system that makes you feel safe. And you know what? There's wisdom in that. We all need stability. The only catch is there's a fine line between being stable and being completely stuck in concrete.
And here we can see the two sides of that exact coin. On the bright side, you've got wise self-care. You're saving for your future, creating healthy boundaries, building real financial stability. That's awesome. But it's a slippery slope. That same energy can curdle into fearful greed. You start operating from a place of not enough. You resist any kind of change. You get possessive. And before you know it, you're isolated and stagnant. It really forces you to ask, are you managing your resources or are your resources managing you?
Okay, so what happens when we flip this card over? Boom, the walls of that fortress come tumbling down. This is all about letting go, for better or for worse. So when it's reversed, it means a release is happening. And this can be amazing. It could be you finally breaking free from that scarcity mindset, feeling generous, opening up to the world, wonderful. But it can also be a pretty serious warning. Are you letting go with intention, or are you just being reckless? Are you overspending, making bad investments, just letting everything slip through your fingers?
Yeah, just look at these keywords. You've got these beautiful concepts like generosity and letting go of the past, right next to some pretty scary ones like financial insecurity and reckless spending. It's a real spectrum. And this is where the other cards in your spread are going to be your best friend. They'll tell you which side of that story is playing out for you.
Okay, so let's bring all this down to earth. How does this card actually show up in our day-to-day lives? Let's talk about love, career, and money.
Oof. In love and relationships, this card can be a tough one. It's basically a giant flashing sign that says emotional walls ahead. We're talking jealousy, possessiveness, holding on to old arguments like they're treasures. If you're single, it might mean you're guarding your heart so tightly that no one could possibly get in. And if you're with someone, it's a huge nudge to release those old grudges and risk being open. Because let's be real, intimacy can't grow when one person is locked in a fortress.
And at work, this card is all about that need for stability. which is great until it's not. This is the classic golden handcuffs card. Staying in a soul-crushing job just because the paycheck is reliable and you're afraid to leave. It's a real wake-up call to ask yourself, am I actually building a career I care about? Or am I just clinging to a salary out of fear?
And with money, well, this is the Four of Pentacles home turf. It's the card of the super saver, the budgeter, the financial conservative. But here's the warning. It can also be the card of the miser. It's that constant fear of not having enough, even when your bank account is perfectly healthy. It's working so hard to make money, but being too afraid to actually spend any of it and enjoy your life. What's the point of that?
Okay, so how do we work with this energy? Let's wrap things up with some practical advice. This is the key to letting go. First off, let's get a super practical question out of the way. If you're asking a yes or no question and you pull this card, the answer is a pretty firm no. It's telling you to hold steady, focus on what you've got, and be really cautious about any new opportunities right now. It's not the time to take a big leap. So how do you find your balance with this tricky energy? Here are a few steps. First, just take a second to really evaluate your relationship with security and control. Where are you gripping too tight? Second, figure out what truly matters and protect that, but don't let fear paralyze you from everything else. Third, and this one's huge, practice gratitude. It is the perfect antidote to that scarcity feeling. And finally, just remember, real growth in love, at work, anywhere, it requires a little bit of trust and a little bit of openness.
I absolutely love this, and it sums everything up so perfectly. Don't let stability become a cage. It's so easy to do, isn't it? We build these walls to keep ourselves safe, and then one day we look around and realize we're actually trapped inside.
And that's really the question this card leaves us with. Take a moment and ask yourself honestly, what am I so afraid to lose? And then flip that question around. What incredible things might I gain if I could just loosen my grip? Just a little bit. That's a powerful thought to sit with. Thank you so much for exploring this card with me today.
Continue your tarot journey by liking, subscribing, and checking out our books. The link is in the description below. Until next time, goodbye.